Good afternoon, everyone. It's Liz from Old Stables Crafts, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Hello and welcome. As ever, hello Nora, gosh you were prompt. As ever, when you join, say hello, and if you want to share where you're joining from, that would be lovely too. Hello Judith. The weather here this morning was really foggy. I mean, really foggy. And I was driving into Abingdon, which means I had to cross the river, which made it even foggier, because fog obviously sits with rivers. Hello, Shaz. I am very well, apart from one thing which I will come to in a minute. It's all good. Hello, Deborah. So, for those of you who don't know me, welcome. If you don't already subscribe, you can subscribe to my channel just by clicking that button in the bottom right hand corner. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, a thumbs up is always appreciated. If you're watching on the replay, and you'll know it's replay because it won't say live in the heading, it will say live replay, then you can leave a comment in the below the description bar if you would like to. Hello Marlene, chilly fall day in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's quite chilly here as well. It's nice, but it's chilly. Hello, Carol from Aptos in California. Marsha from Massachusetts. Lenexa, I'm thinking, from Kansas. And Minda from Honolulu. Aloha. So I think I've caught everyone. Oh, Joanna, missed you out. Can't miss Joanna out. So, yes, for those of you who don't know, I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator working in Europe, which means I work across France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, the UK, Belgium and Ireland. I thank you. We are now officially in the whole of the island of Ireland. We were just in Northern Ireland, but now we're in the whole of Ireland, which is amazing. Hello, Claire. So today I am playing with Joyful Flurry. It is the stamp set that is being featured by Stampin' Through the Catalogue. If you're with me on Tuesday even, you would have heard me mention about Stampin' Through the Catalogue on Instagram. They every week, twice a week, each week, they share inspiration for one of two stamp sets, so one on the Tuesday, one on the Thursday, and basically it's anything that anyone has posted using that stamp set and tagging, either mentioning them, so at Stampin' Through the Catalogue, spelt without a G in Stampin', and Catalogue the American way, and then the alternative is to hashtag STTC challenge, one word, so it's STTCCH, etc. So if you want to see lots of inspiration, hop over to Instagram, follow Stampin' Through the Catalogue, and you will see lots. Hello, Paula from Wyoming. So I think that's everything I need to do housekeeping wise. Oh, other than to say this is my job, so if you're in any of the European countries we work in, if you want to join my team or shop through me, I would be thrilled, because that's how I can afford to bring you these videos. Otherwise I'd be out working and earning a crust. Anywho, I have got 3 projects planned. I will have to do a small apology. When we flip down you'll see why. It's not a big apology and it's nothing serious, but if any of you are squeamish, you may want to look away. So let's go down. It's nothing serious. However, ooh, that's so not right. Oh no, that is right. Sorry, I thought that was a gap. It's not. It's what I'm going to be working on. So, yesterday I sent out all my September thank yous, and I used a lot of A4, what we call PIP boxes. PIP boxes, so they're flat pack that you then fold up, and they're A4 large letter, so they fit through the post as a large letter when the Royal Mail are working, that is, which they're not today. However, and so I ordered some more because I only had 2 left by the time I'd sent them out. Was it yesterday? First thing yesterday morning, that's right. I was trying to do them Tuesday, but I missed the post. And I had to go to the post office because I've run out of stamps. So I ordered some more. They were due to arrive tomorrow, but they arrived today. And he delivered the guy delivered them to the main house, which was fine. And I wasn't expecting them today, so I didn't know what they were. So I took them indoors, opened the box, and realised what they were, was carrying them over here, went through the front door, and I have caught my hand on the window ledge by the front door. It is really quite painful. At the time there was a little bit of swearing, and I have a sneaking suspicion that tomorrow or over the weekend I'm going to develop quite a bruise, but it does mean that I have got a plaster on because it was oozing rather. So I do apologise if any of you are squeamish and have a blood phobia. I do apologise. However, 3 cards using Joyful Flurry. It's red rubber. I'm using all except those stamps. I've got them all on blocks. I'm trying to be organised. So we've got in sentiments. It's a season of magic and wonder, sending you all the best things this new year, which if you are on the continent, particularly if you're in France, is a really big deal. New Year is a huge deal in France. Joyful wishes, happy Christmas, let it snow. Then we've got 3 snowflakes and then dots that can obviously make snow. So that's the stamp set. The dies, and I will be using quite a lot of them, so some of them are out. I'm sure it will mend quickly, Shaz. I ran it under a cold tap to try and reduce any bruising, but because I caught a bone, it's not broken or anything. I mean, I'm perfectly mobile. It's just rather sore, but I did run it under a cold tap before I realised it was bleeding, and then dried it off and put a plaster on it and some antiseptic. So there are lots of dies. So there are independent snowflakes. There's a die for each of the snowflake stamps. I will be using one, so that's why that one is missing. Then there are 3, and I'm using the other one, snowflakes that pop up. I'm sure it will be fine. Thank you, Paula. I'm sure it will be fine. It's just really annoying, and there was quite a lot of swearing because it really was very painful, and because I was carrying something, there wasn't much I could do. So yes, they are pop-up dies. I'll be using one just to show you. Then there are 2 sentiment strips, and again I'm going to be using the bigger one, so I'll show you that. It is a bit sore, Nora, but you know, I'm big and brave and strong, but no, I'm not. As I say, I'm sure it will be fine, but I do apologise. That's what the plaster's all about. It's nothing serious. Didn't have to go to hospital or anything daft like that. So the first one that I have got prepped, it is really worrying that I've got this prepped, is going to be sort of pool party-ish. So I've already die cut a stitched rectangle, and I'm going to die cut the pop-up snow, or one of the pop-up snowflakes, but the one that I haven't got set aside. This is the other pop-up snowflake. I'm going to die cut that, but first I'm going to stamp my sentiment so that if I make a mess of my sentiment I can start again without having die cut the snowflake. I'm going to be embossing snowflakes over my Whisper White. No, it's not, it's basic white, and adding some colour with a blending brush, and it will be Pool Party, and I'm going to be matting it onto Pool Party. I will need to trim this piece down so that it fits properly, because that's tiny margin, and it will be going on basic white, thick basic white. So that's what I'm doing for the first one. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment, which I'm going to do in Pool Party. So, Joyful Wishes. Fortunately, it's a very scripty script, so if it's not exactly straight, it's not a big deal. She says, famous last words. It's a bit to one side, but it's fine because I've got some embellishments that I can use, so that's all good. I will need that ink pad again, but not yet. So, mini cut and emboss. And I'm happy to say that the winning big cut and emboss has arrived. I had an email from the winner just as I was getting back from holiday to say it's on. It has arrived safely, which is always good to know. So, am I in camera? Probably just about. So I'm just lining up my snowflake so that it's central, and straight would always be classic. Sort of central and it's sort of straight, so I'm going to sort of go for it. So wind that through. Oh, split pea soup, yum yum, like split pea soup. But yes, Wyoming is quite a long way to go. I actually had soup for lunch today because it is quite chilly here. Did I mention it was chilly and foggy this morning? So on Monday I had a session at the gym. I was due to go to the gym, and it's the Abingdon Fair, or was the Abingdon Fair, back end of the weekend. So this pops up. So I will pop it up while I'm chatting about the Abingdon Fair. And it basically, the fair blocks the whole of the centre of Abingdon, which is where my gym is. I could still access the gym and the car park for the gym, although I had to go through a barrier that said no entry, but it was allowed. Or it would have been if I had allowed over an hour and a half to get there. To put that into context, normally it takes me about 15 or 20 minutes on a bad day to get to my gym, and that's literally door to door. So having parked, having done all that stuff, sat in traffic a bit, it's normally about 15 to 20 minutes. I gave up after an hour when it said I had another 40 minutes of traffic to sit in. So happily this morning, when I thought the fair was still on, I allowed an hour on the basis I would therefore be there ahead of most of the traffic. Yeah, 15 minutes because the fair finished yesterday and they cleared it away last night. So I sat in the car park and sent some emails. So it was fine, it wasn't time wasted. Actually, I didn't send emails, I ordered some photos to print. That's what I did from our holiday. So there we are, that's our nice popped up. Ooh, I'm sorry if you got a pause on that. I had a pause, but it seems to be okay. I did check the Wi-Fi and it says it's excellent condition. So yes, so we've got nice pop-up, nice dimension. Obviously it will be flatter than that when I stick it to the card, but we do have nice dimension. So next I need to do some stamping on this, and I need to go over the edges. So I'm going to bring in a piece of mini grid paper. I'm going to cover this with embossing buddy. This comes now in a set with a brush, this, some tweezers and a dish. So hello Jan. They're a really nice set of dies. So yes, I agree, they are beautiful. Now the trick with this is knowing where you've stamped, because stamping Versamark on white is quite tricky, but it will catch the light. What I don't want is to stamp over a snowflake, and I'm going to do a flurry. So I can just about see where that is. Near enough. Yep. So I'm going to come off this edge, and then I'm going to put the little one up at the top there. I may put the little one down at the bottom as well, but no, I think I'll leave it at that actually. Right, so I will clean those in a moment, but for the moment, hello Karen. Oh, which reminds me, so for those of you who are in the UK or Europe, if you're not already on my newsletter, you may want to be on my newsletter. I've just launched, and the reason I'm remembering is because Karen sent me an email about it asking a question, which I have answered, and that's all good. I'm about to launch, or have launched, my next Creativity in a Box after a bit of a hiatus when I didn't do any. And I'm also doing a subscription service which you can join at any time. And basically what it means is you pay, all the boxes are going to be £35, and the subscription service just means it automatically gets taken out of your account, so it's on PayPal. And after you've had 6 boxes, you get your 7th free whenever you join. So you don't pick and choose which embossing powder. You don't pick and choose which ones you have on the subscription service. You have all of them. And then your 7th will be free. And then you can upgrade them to include the stamp set and all that good stuff if you so wish. Or you can just buy them as they come out, but then you don't get the free one after 7. So it's my way of saying thank you for going on the subscription, because the subscription means I know what I've already got orders for, so it helps me. So that's on my newsletter, but it's on my website. I want to say it went up yesterday on my website, might have been this morning, but it's on my website, all the details. Right, so I'm just going to heat emboss this. I am actually going to do those bits first. So the price is for a UK address, but if anyone is outside of the UK, I can obviously do a quote for overseas. Is that all properly melted? I'm just a little bit there that's not quite. Okay, so sorry about the noise. I think that's the only oh no, I have got some more heat embossing to do. Just about to do the subscription. Thank you, Jan. Right, so I need that back. And I've got a blending brush and my ink, and this is my aqua blending brush. So Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay and Pool Party. I'm going to start in the middle because that's going to be covered up. This is going there, so a lot of this is going to be covered up, but it's quite useful because it means I want it to blend out. So it means I can start in the middle and blend the colour out. I will need a tissue to blend some of it off the embossing. So we're doing emboss resist. And as I said at the beginning, I will be trimming this down a little because it's a little bit too large a piece of card. Hello, Barbara from Kentucky. So my first, or my current, I should say, Creativity in a Box is using the Sweetest Christmas, which is the one with the candy canes. So if you don't like candy canes or that paper, this isn't the one to join, but you can join at any time. And I will just keep a spreadsheet of who's joined when, and when they hit the 6th payment, I'll then pause the payment for a month. Because I can do that on PayPal. PayPal's clever like that. I can't decide whether to go that way up or that way. I think I might go that way up. Now I'm going to bring the colour down a little bit, but just a tiny weeny bit so that it's peeking out at the corners as well. And it is going to be the slightest amount of colour in these two corners here. Right, so that's Pool Party tick. I will have to clean some of my stamps. That one, actually no, I don't need to because I'm going to be heat embossing. heat embossing and die cutting. That's what I'm going to be doing, so it's fine. Right, love it when I actually know what I'm doing. Hello, Linda. I am live again. My holiday was amazing. Oh, hello, Brenton. Didn't see you sneak in there. My holiday was amazing. Thank you very much. We had a really good time. It was wonderful to spend some time with my brother and sister-in-law away, because we don't often get to spend, you know, quality time with them, and I don't particularly like the phrase quality time, but you get what I mean. So I'm cutting this down to 3 3/4. I'm going to do it with a chopper, actually. In fact, no, I am going to do it with the chopper, but I'm going to do the long bits not with a chopper, and the short bits with a chopper. And I will explain why in a moment. Oh, wrong one. Helps if you use the... Oh, that's going to need to be chopped. The reason I'm taking the ends off is because you often, when you've used a blending brush, get a hard edge, which will be noticeable if you've trimmed the other sides. So you do need to, if you're going to trim, you do need to trim each of the sides. So, which one did I trim? That one. That's because I said, you'll be able to notice if you've trimmed one side, and then I couldn't notice that I trimmed it. Hey-ho. There we go. The chopper, which unfortunately isn't available now, is much better for very narrow bits. So this is going to go on straight onto here. And if you know me, you know I'm going to use my seal, because I do not like green glue on the back of basic white or very vanilla. There's something about it that I think it shows through, and I don't know why, because I'm not sure that it does, but in my head it does. So here we go. And press. Haven't missed anyone. So yes, we had a super time. We were very lucky with the weather. And it did rain, but only when it didn't matter. So yeah, that was all good. So it rained for half an hour the day we arrived down in South Cornwall. It rained for an hour on the Friday that we were in South Cornwall. But when we were in the Tate at St Ives, so it didn't matter. So we were very lucky. I even caught the sun sitting at a bar on the beach. Aren't they wonderful, Marlene? The way they pop, the snowflakes pop, is just wonderful. I love the pop-ups. So yeah, I love me a good pop-up. So I'm going to pop that in the middle. The thing you do have to remember is to not stick dimensionals where it's supposed to be popping up. Not a good look, but yeah, it's just really subtle and I love it. So once I have got this on, I just need to stick it to its base, and that card is done. Which, bearing in mind that I had a bit of blether at the beginning, we're doing okay. And one of my cards I think is going to be quite quick and quite a surprise. But right, so I'm going to have this so that the sides and the top are even. Now I think if you're in North America, you'll end up with all of your sides even, because I think the rectangles are sized for your slightly different sized paper. But for those of us who use International A4, it will be... That's not straight. No, it's not straight. I'm going to photograph that from an angle and it'll look straight, but it's not. Ho-hum. So yes, I think they are sized for North American cardstock, but it's perfectly usable outside of North America. I go for the Polaroid look. So Polaroid photos have a wider bit at the bottom, and your brain thinks that's quite okay. If you're doing prints for framing, you quite often have a wider a wider mount at the bottom of your print. So your brain is very used to having a wider gap at the bottom of your thing, whatever the thing is. So I always leave the wider bit at the bottom. Now what I am going to add, because these were the inspiration for the colour, is some of these adhesive-backed sequins and gems. That is the least inspired name for some embellishments I think I have seen. They're meant to be Coastal Cabana. They may well be Coastal Cabana. I am going to do the obvious, because why wouldn't I? But I think they go perfectly adequately with Pool Party, because they are glittery, and I don't think you can tell that they're actually Coastal Cabana. It's part of the same family of colour, so it's all good. So those are going the opposite way to the embossed snowflakes, and I've just realised I said I was going to get a tissue to just, what I was going to do was just rub, and I would encourage you to do this before you put your card together. If you rub over your embossed image, if there is any ink on top of the embossing, it will take that off. But you do really want to do that before you put your card together. So these are hidden nicely in the catalogue on page 19, which is where the stamp set are. And here are the adhesive-backed gems. They're meant to be Fresh Freesia and Coastal Cabana, and then obviously these are just clear. But as I say, I think they work perfectly well with the Mantle-worthy. Oh, thank you, Carol. Yeah, they just, yeah. I love the flakes. I really quite like the sequins. I know there are some people who don't like sequins with holes in the middle. I'm not that person, so it's fine for me. Right, and number 2, we're going pink. So I have got some of the vellum that's got snowflakes on. I will be using some that's got the flocked snowflakes. Thank you, Marlene. Thank you, Joanna. And I saw these bits floating in the bottom of my pack of paper, and I thought, well, I'm going to use them. So I'm actually only going to use one, but I haven't decided which of the two yet. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to be heat embossing, so I need my scrap of paper. And again, I'm going to use all of, well, probably all of the snowflakes. And no, it's not that one I want. Ooh. Do you know, I didn't actually decide what I was putting in the middle of this card. Bear with me one moment, caller, while I have a thunk about that. Because something was going in the middle. I think I was just going to die cut one, but I haven't got my... I didn't get a die out. That was weird. Because those all are popped up, which means they have to be solid. Because that was for that one. So I think I'll just pull up the biggest of the standalone snowflakes, because that's the one I used already. So that goes back in there. Oh, I know what I was going to use, and I put it away. Hold your horses. I just remembered. Stupidly put them away. Do you remember these from last year? They're back. They're the wonderful snowflakes. So they have got tissue between the layers. I just want one. They are laser cut, so do just be very careful with them. But they are beautiful. I'm very pleased they brought them back. Not least of all because I had a few left over, so it meant I didn't have to buy any more. So these are actually last year's, but they are in the catalogue as a returning fave. Thank you, ladies. So now we'll go back in honest gov, just not while I'm on camera. Okay, so this time I'm going for silver embossing, so it's going to be silver on pink, which may or may not be a thing, but it is in my brain. So embossing buddy. I've got my silver embossing powder ready. I have my Versamark ready. So, I think I will start with the large one again. And again, this time I'm going to have a bit more of a ziggy zag. In fact, I'll go there with that one. So I'm going to more or less fill the background with snowflakes. So some of them I might be using more than once. Let's take that off there, and then I can just dip into the top, which will be quicker. So I can see where this is all going, because when Versamark hits a coloured card, it leaves a self image. Ooh, I've over stamped at that point, but it's fine. I can deal with that in a moment. Let's pop that back on there. Get rid of the stamps. And do I have my spoon? I need my spoon, probably, and I will need my brush, which is under here. So brush. So let's pick this up by a bit that hasn't been stamped and add some embossing powder. Now I know I could use the dish, but this is cleaner to clear up, or quicker rather to clear up, because it all just goes back into the pot. So this is where I've got a fingerprint. This is where I've overstamped. So that's fine. Just take your brush and brush away what you don't want. Obviously being careful not to brush away anything you do want. Oh, Marlene, thank you for sharing. Yes, sharing is caring. Thumbs ups and sharing are always appreciated. So thank you for doing that. Right, okay, so let's grab the good old cheese board again. And again, there are the lovely new ceramic tweezers, which are great. But I do like my cheese board. Although having said that, I think I might be using my ceramic tweezers on my cheese board, because there's nowhere for me to clip that without going on to the embossing. Right, so apologies for the noise. Good heavens, it's 1:30 in the morning. Margaret, do you work shifts? And also, dare I say, Brenton, you must be on shifts, because that is early or late. Don't you love embossing? I could sit and do this all day. Well, stand in my case. Beautiful, even though I say so, who shouldn't? Now, we had our team meeting last night and we were talking about the new ceramic tweezers. These will get very hot when you have them near the heat gun, so please, 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 please don't touch them. And when you put them down that way up so that the hot bit is off paper. Just please don't burn yourselves. Okay, so to put this together, I'm just going to decide which of the two bits of vellum I'm going to use, and it's really about the height, so it's whether I want the bigger bit, so I'm going to cut this in half. I don't even have to cut it in half straight. Where are my snips? Which of you has walked off with my snips? It's all right, I found them. You're retired and you woke up. Fair enough. I'm very happy for you to join as... Oh, actually, but if I do cut it with a proper straight edge, it means I've got more edges to look at, to choose from. Yes, I'm very happy to be people's company in the middle of the night. Ooh, my husband and I have got our COVID boosters tomorrow. Eek! So, yes. Happy day. So, the choice is either that or that. No, don't like that. I think I'm going to go that. And possibly that. And the reason for that is because I've got lots of this arrow, which I don't want lots of. You're just awake, are you, Brenton? Fair enough. I know you do shifts, so I wasn't sure whether it was a shift day or not. So I'm going to use some tear and tape to attach my vellum to the back of my piece of card. I'm just going to rip a piece off. So yeah, I don't want all of these. Had I had this sticking out, it would be lots of arrows, and it just didn't, it to my brain looked like arrows, not snowflakes. So I'm happy to have a bit, but I don't want too much. So I want, let's pop that on a straight edge. So I need it to be narrower than the card, always a plan, although I could trim it down. So I think we'll go, would like it to be reasonably even top and bottom as well. So let's pop that there. And that's about even. So that's that one. Now all I've got to do is line up the other one to be the same. Wish me luck. Now, of course, if you've got a larger piece, you can use the whole piece. So what I'm going to do is line up with a line at the top, and then I can have this lining up with a line at the top. The same line would be useful. And then I want to come in or out 2 squares. So I'm just using squares. I'm not going to call it a measurement because it depends whether you're working in metric or not. So that's there. Perfect. It's almost like I wanted it like that. So more dimensionals. And I will be using probably more than I usually would because I want to also stick the vellum to the card a bit more. I know it's got tear and tape, but my brain says you can't have too much adhesive. Although my name is not Bruno Bertucci, let it be said. You've only had 4. Yeah, my booster will be my 4th. It depends on whether you are more at risk or not in the UK. So if you have an immunity issue, you get more boosters. I'm only on my 4th, but I have had COVID twice, so I'm fairly well covered. Going for that. Yeah, so that's because Judith's husband is over 80, that's why he's getting a 5th. Because the over 80s got one in the late summer, I want to say. Anyway, they got an extra one because they have a lower immunity. Right, so somewhere, there it is, I've got one of these. So this is going to go on here. And I'm not having a sentiment on this one. Now, did you know, because if you didn't, you're about to, the reason this is this shape in the middle is because it's exactly the right size for a dimensional. You're welcome. So obviously I don't want the edges sticking out over the edge of the card because that really would not be a good idea. But I do... I'm going to have it on the left, actually. And then I am going to add something, and I think I'm going to go good old-fashioned rhinestone. You're over 17, you've not had COVID. Well, congratulations. Well done. I'm just lucky, I guess. The first time I had COVID, which was when we were only just getting vaccinations in the UK, I managed to get it before I had my vaccination. In fact, they rang me the day I was diagnosed with COVID to offer me the vaccination. Couldn't obviously therefore have it, and then had to wait for 4 weeks before I could have it. And they did warn me that I was going to react quite badly to it, and they were right. I did, because I had it exactly 4 weeks after I had COVID. And so that was February 21. And I picked that up when I was visiting my now late father in hospital. He was on supposedly a green, i.e. non-infected ward. Yeah, that didn't last long. And then I had it again this January. So sadly, my father did pass away after he was taken into hospital, when he then caught COVID, but not because of COVID. It transpired he had a brain hemorrhage, which, because he had a form of leukemia, was not a surprise. So he died with it, not of it. So I'm just going to add, or I would if it would stick, thank you. My putty is obviously, I'm just going to add a few more, because there are moments when more is more. And this is one of those moments. So 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. So yes, I'm probably quite immune now. You've not had it, Shaz. Good. I wouldn't recommend it. You've got, medical complications. So I got an email a while ago saying, would you like to book your COVID booster? And I kind of went, yes, I'd love to, thank you. Went on to book on the online booking system to book it. Answered all the questions truthfully, as one does. So there we are. Obviously that needs a liner, but that's our second card. Third card is a little different. So I went on and, I've just realised what I was going to use. I was going to use the snowflake sequins. Never mind. So I went on to book, answered all the questions, and the computer went, So I obviously, therefore, couldn't book my jab. Then they sent me a second invitation and said, if you're under 65, and I am, but I'm over 60, you will need to answer the question about if you've got heightened immunity. Either yes or I think so, in order for the system to allow you to book. But that's what you need to do, because we want you to have your jab. Go figure. Hello, Beverly. So, yes, in order for the system to... I don't need that. In order for the system to allow me to book the jab that they want me to have, I had to lie. You just couldn't make it up, could you? So this time I'm going rose gold. We don't have rose gold embossing powder. Thank you, Marlene. What we do have is copper. So I'm going copper. And there is method in my madness for wanting rose gold. Just saying. So I'm going to use the sentiment, it's a season of magic and wonder. And I'm going to stamp the big snowflake and then die cut it. And I'm using more of the lovely vellum. So I may need a bigger piece of card or another piece of card, but let's see how we go. So this is it is a season of magic and wonder. Goes there, like that. And the big snowflake goes up here. Thank you, Deborah. Do remember, if you like the cards, you can either or like and share. So I've got copper embossing powder because rose gold and copper are not a million miles away from each other. I have my spoon. So dabble, 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 dabble. Knock. And I will come in with the brush. I'll also come in with a little bit more embossing powder just there. It is quite fine writing, so you may find that you need to give it a couple of coatings. And then the snowflake. Like that. Let's get rid of the stray bits of embossing powder, pop the lid on, then I'll come in with the brush, which I did keep out, wasn't sure. So there's a bit of overspill. I'm just going to tap the back gently. And I'm literally just tapping very gently to get any loose bits off. And yes, we're embossing again. Because you've got to emboss a snowflake. It's like a rule. It's melting. Just check. Oh, that was clever. All my dimensional backings have just blown on the floor. It's fine. Right, okay, so I need to trim that out a little bit. Come on. And then do some die cutting, and then I will put my card together and explain what I'm using. So, mini cut and emboss, plates 1 and 2. So let's trim that down. So I've got the larger of the two sentiment things and some masking tape. As in low tack tape, so not masking paper. This is the mask. This is low tack tape, which Stampin' Up! Do not sell. Just saying. No, we don't even. Well, apart from the glitter washi tape, which is far too nice to use for this, we don't really do any of that now. Hello, Barbara. All the way from Germany. So that's that die cut, and just rescue my bits of low tack tape because I will need those for my snowflake. And just line that up as best I can. That looks good. A couple of bits of that. And through, let's pop that down because I don't need it anymore. Well, I do, but right, so there is my snowflake and my sentiment. Can you see those? Now you can. So that's those. So don't need those anymore. Let's not throw the die away. It's the only problem with using low-tack tape, as I do sometimes end up losing dies. Actually, I don't. That low-tack tape doesn't owe me anything now. Right, so what have I got here? I have got a piece of thick whisper white. No, I've got a piece of thick basic white. Good Lord. Hello, Monique from a rainy Holland. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's wet with you. It's lovely here at the moment. So this is 6.5 inches square, scored down the middle. My rose gold, this is the holographic rose gold. It is lovely, this bundle, isn't it, Monique? So this is the holographic rose gold, and it is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So it's 6.25 inches by 3.25 inches. And then I've got this snowflake vellum, which is the flocked vellum, which is 3 by 6, I think. No, it's 2 3/4 by 6. That's right, because this is 3.25, not 3.5. Because it's half of 6.5 is 3.25. So everything is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I'm just going to fold this so I can find out which is the front and the back. You may think I'm mad if you haven't been following me for a while. I like to just make sure that if I'm not exactly right with my score line, that I have the longer piece at the front. But I actually was very good with my score line. And I am bringing from the annual catalogue the rose gold and white striped ribbon. So this was why I was using rose gold. This was the inspiration for the card. I saw it there and I think, I love that ribbon and I never use it. So rose gold it is. So I'm just going to cut a piece of that. I may add a bit, but at the moment I'm just cutting that. So this is going to cover a multitude of sins because I need to be able to stick the vellum to the rose gold without the adhesive showing. Vellum obviously is see-through. So I'm going to have my rose gold ribbon towards the bottom of my card, just a bit towards the bottom of my card. So I can add vellum. I can add adhesive behind the ribbon. So let's make sure that it's straight. And I'm only making sure that it's straight so that I don't end up going, completely skew with and ending up with it not hiding behind the ribbon because it wasn't straight, which would be very sad. So that's going to be fine. That will be hidden behind my ribbon, and the ribbon's quite fat, so I've got quite a nice margin of error for where I put that. Then I'm going to have my snowflake and my sentiment. I might end up with my snowflake and my sentiment actually. Let's see. If I turn my snowflake at all, will I be able to tuck my sentiment in? Oh, I can do there. Right. Okay, that's fine. So because I want my snowflake to be kind of round my... That's how I need it. That's straight. That's straight. Right. I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of my snowflake while I... Hello, Deborah from Michigan. Rose gold is your favourite, is it, Joanna? As is Beverly. Beverly likes it as well. Joanna's 42 medical complications. You've had your 4th vaccine and just getting over your 2nd dose of COVID. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope it wasn't too bad, your COVID. My 2nd dose was nothing like my 1st dose. I mean, it was Omicron the second time, whereas my 1st dose was so not Omicron. And so it's that one and that one I need to aim for. So let's have that straight. I'll concentrate for 2 seconds. But my 2nd dose of COVID, I had a couple of uncomfortable days. So the first day was, I had a really sore throat. I mean, like someone was ripping my throat out sore. Just going to pop that on there. I think There's a cat on the roof. Either that or it's a bird. And then I had a sort of, not chesty cough, it was above a chest. And then I slept for 3 days. Frankly, it was not as bad as my normal first cold of the season. Although it did leave me a bit tireder than that, but it wasn't too bad. But then I know people who've had asymptomatic as well, so who knows? You're either lucky or you're not, I guess. So that's going to... Oh, I said that was straight and it's so not. It doesn't matter. It's a snowflake. It doesn't need to be straight. So that's going to go there, so I can hide some more adhesive there. So we can tuck a little bit more in underneath. So if that's going there with the ribbon underneath, I can have a piece of tear and tape about there. It's all about just getting that extra little bit of adhesive. So that can go there. I can also, because we've got flocking, take my glue dots and add a glue dot up here behind the flocking, so that will help keep everything in place. And I can have one here. So it's all about looking for where you can hide your adhesive. And I am actually going to put one there as well. I may even put one there. So it's just, as I say, hide your adhesive under anything you've got that will camouflage it. Because as you can see, it will show through otherwise. So just have a look and be slightly inventive about where you can hide your adhesive. And I like a dry adhesive for vellum, because if you use wet adhesive it might squish out. Right, so I do know, I can see where they are, but that's because I know where they are, so they're slightly lumpy. But basically they are invisible. Why did I go all squeaky? Because I did. Right, so that's going to go there. Like that. So as I have my tear and tape here, I might as well use it. So I'll have a piece there. And a piece over here. And take those bits off. Have I missed? See you soon, Nora. Have fun. So I'm going to go 3 squares up. I'm very nearly finished, so anyone who is going, oh, how much longer is she going to be? Not much is the answer. And I'm just going to stick more tear and tape over the top, because then I've encapsulated the ribbon. And I do like a bit of encapsulated ribbon. Like that. And then I will add liquid adhesive for the rest. Because I do like my slippage. So press from the back. Pop my lid on, more dimensionals, and then that's just going to sit just over the top of the ribbon. It's a stray bit. Throw it in my non-recyclable bin. And again, I have put a dimension over the join between the 2 die cuts, just so that there's something more to stick the 2 together. and then making sure that I cover my tear and tape, and I've got quite a long bit to play with. I can do that. Might need to later on sneak a mini dimensional under there just to keep everything in place. And let's have a look at what I got to stick on. And I think I'm going to keep in that whole kind of rose gold theme and bring out some. Do you remember we have champagne rhinestones and a black dot apparently? That's one of the matte black dots that is in totally the wrong place. Thank you. I've got too much in my embellishment box, that's the problem. So matte champagne works perfectly well with rose gold. So I am going to just add a few. Not well, I might end up adding lots actually, who knows. Who knows what I'm going to do. Should I pop a big one up the top? So I'll have a big one up there. Now again, you could hide a glue dot behind there, particularly if you've got some of the glue dots from our kits, which tend to be a bit smaller. Definitely want more than just that up there. Yeah, that will do. So yeah, I will retrofit some mini glue dots under here because it is lifting up a wee bit because it's heat embossed. But there we go. So those are my 3 cards for this afternoon using the Joyful Flurry. So all quite different, all using embossing, but in a slightly different way. So we've got a background, we've got a feature, we've got emboss resist, we're using the pop-up dies, we're using the ordinary dies here. So yes, I hope you enjoy that. If you did, a thumbs up and a share, or a share would be lovely. Just put my ribbon back. Are they in camera? They are even in camera. Whoa! It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Let's not think that, because I don't. So, thank you very much for hanging out with me this afternoon, or this morning, or whenever it is in your world. I will be back on Saturday with a Simple Stamping Saturday. I really must record that before I have my COVID jab tomorrow. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Shaz. So yes, back on Saturday with Simple Stamping Saturday. I have more cards to share from the Jingle 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 stamp set, which I will share over on Instagram. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Joanna. And yes, then I'll be back again on Tuesday with a top tip, whatever that's going to be, and another live on Tuesday as well. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Marlene. So yes, a thumbs up's always appreciated. I will just flip the camera up so I can say goodbye properly. Or indeed not. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. So yes, thank you very much indeed for joining me today. As I say, a thumbs up always appreciated. If you're new and you haven't yet subscribed and you enjoyed the madness, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. I will be doing some random lives over the coming weeks. Now that I'm back from holiday, I can do those sorts of things. So if you hit the alert bell, you'll know when I go live, because it won't just be at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning and 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. So thank you very much indeed. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will look forward to seeing you again very soon, I hope. Bye for now.